Good morning. Welcome to the 49ers Playbook starring former Raiders offensive coordinator Tom Walsh and me, Grant Cohn. It's a big week because this is the week that Kyle Shanahan has decided to go back to his franchise quarterback and say thank you, but no thanks to Mac Jones playing anymore. Tom, what do you think of the way Kyle Shanahan is handling Mac Jones before we talk about Brock Purdy?
To be honest, Grant, I think it's been butchered from day one. And as a head coach and as a leader of the organization, as the head coach and the pseudo general manager, whatever other title that he wears, he could have come out day one and said, okay, Brock is injured. We're going to go with Mac as his replacement. And he'll play until, Brock is totally healthy, and not go through all the verbal gymnastics that have gone on for the past months. And, is he practicing hard enough? Is he going in limited participation? And I think it's just kind of muddled the whole picture. And it's kind of a disservice, not only to Mac, but also to Brock, is the way that it's been bantered back and forth like a ping pong ball. And it's not fair.
It seems like they went from being very grateful that Mac Jones stepped up and was playing better than they expected to having like a quarterback controversy on their hands that they didn't expect. And now, rather than just being grateful that Mac Jones exists and he's taken you this far, it seems like they almost want to address the conversation around the quarterback controversy and prove that they were right to pay Brock all that money. It seems like the motivation for benching Mac Jones now is a little strange, especially considering that he just had his best game.
Well, you cannot come up with a legitimate reason as to why you're benching Mac other than to say that Brock is and was the starting quarterback, and that once he's 100% healthy, he'll be back out there playing. That's his job. So Mac filled in favorably and did well and admirably and deserves all the accolades. Had a fantastic game last week. But if Kyle would have approached it from the beginning and said, look, Brock is our starting quarterback. He's now injured. Mac is going to come in and replace him. And then once Brock is healthy, Brock will be back out there. And if he would have said that from day one, you would not be having this discussion at all.
The weird thing is that last week, or just a few days ago after the Rams loss, Kyle was asked if Brock could play, and he said, yeah, he could have played in this game. I just didn't want to put him in that situation. So it makes me wonder, like, this week, why this week? Were they afraid that if they brought back Brock against the Rams and he lost, that they would cause an uproar? Is this a good week because they think they're going to beat the Cardinals? What is the thought process here from a coach's perspective?
Well, the one thing I would have been concerned about is the use of the word situation. If you look at Kyle has dug his own hole. When he says, I did not want to put him in this situation, what is the situation? What defines that word in Kyle's mind as to why he did not want to put Brock in that situation? Was that the situation against playing a very talented team, which may win the ball game, and then he did not want to trot Brock out there cold and rusty and go up against the Rams, who are a legitimate contender for postseason play, and have an adverse reaction? So Kyle chose to hold him back until he's going to go down to Arizona and play Phoenix this week and let Mac take the quiver of arrows for the result of the game, regardless of win or lose.
For weeks, the 49ers were saying all the right things about Mac Jones. He's just such a phenomenal quarterback. He's so tough. But then when they saw the light at the end of the tunnel, they saw Brock coming back. It seems like Kyle and George and certain players kind of made it clear, like, hey, thanks a lot, Mac. He's a nice little quarterback, but Brock is way better, and he's going to take our offense to whole new heights. If that doesn't happen and Brock, God forbid, re-injures the toe and Mac Jones has to come back again this year, from a psychological standpoint, what does it do to a quarterback when you sort of give him that vote of no confidence and bench him after a good performance mid-season?
I think Mac analyze and evaluate how well he has and has not played. So, regardless of what the front office or the head coach or even some of the players in the locker room say, either to his face or behind the scenes, etc., or in the media, Mac has to be able to say, you know what, I gave it my best shot. I played well. I did this. I did that. And then realize that, unfortunately, this game is a business and it's a results business. And the Niners feel like with what they've paid Brock and everything, they want him out there on the field. They promoted him as the face of the franchise. And it doesn't, bode well for them to let him sit on the bench and have Mac just keep winning all these ball games, because then the bottom line is, from a financial perspective, I paid, hundreds of millions of dollars for Brock, and then I've got a 2-year contract with a quarterback who's making maybe $8 million total, who's going out there and far exceeding the value for what they paid for him as a free agent. And then there's that justification, which went back to our conversations we had for months about, why are you giving Purdy this contract when you still have another year left? And he's had some questionable performances in the last couple of years, and also had a question of being able to stay healthy. And he proved again this year, for whatever reason, freak of nature or whatever, not healthy.
So what you're saying is that when Mac Jones started playing really well, that was good for Kyle Shanahan, the head coach. He created that. He fostered the environment for Mac to flourish. But then when Mac started playing really, really well and made people question whether the contract for Brock Purdy was worth it, whether they were foolish to extend him before they had to, that sort of made Kyle Shanahan, the general manager, look not so good. And now he's sort of trying to change the conversation. Is that possible?
Well, he is trying to massage the narrative in his favor. But you know what? Here's the bottom line. If Brock goes out there and plays well on Sunday against Arizona, there's no concern, because he validates why he is the starting quarterback and the face of the franchise. And Brock can say, well, hey, I'm healthy. I went out and I played, and that's the results. Now, if he goes out there and lays an egg, which I don't think he will do, because I'm looking at Arizona's roster and the healthy players and the injured reserve players. My goodness, it's like, I won't say it's a cream puff game and a cupcake game, but I tell you what, they've got like 5 or 6 starters out on offense. They're struggling on defense a little bit. This is the perfect opportunity to trot Brock back out there and have him have a good game, and then restore the credibility within the franchise as to why he's worth the money they paid him.
Well, it's interesting. We're talking about timing. Oh, go ahead.
No, it's a validation game for Kyle to validate what they paid Brock and that he is the starter. And even though Mac has played well, they can prove that Brock is worth the money. And they've got 4 games coming up. I think the opponents, counting Arizona, thus far this season are like 11-26, the next 4 weeks. So they've got a chance to, get Brock in shape, in gear, scrape off the rust before they go into a pretty tough final 3 games of the season. So they could basically pave their way to the playoffs with 4 more wins these next 4 weeks.